So today's topic is application of Gauss law, case 2, cylindrical Gaussian surface. We are going to consider cylindrical Gaussian surface. So what is our aim? To find total electric field. Okay. So you have a cylindrical Gaussian surface. In that we are considering 3 points. First point, the top of the cylinder, bottom of the cylinder, and the curved surface of the cylinder. That means if you assume this to be the cylinder, we are going to consider top of the cylinder, bottom of the cylinder, and curved surface area of the cylinder. Now in this you have a thin straight wire, infinitesimally small thin, okay, and having a positive charge. The radius of the cylinder is R, okay, and the height of the cylinder is L. Now we are going to find the electric field for this Gaussian surface, which is assumed to be cylinder. Okay. Now key points. First point, total electric flux in this closed surface is phi E, which is given by the formula integral for the closed surface E vector dot dA vector. This we have already seen. And if I put a circle in the integral, it means that closed surface. Now this cylindrical Gaussian surface can be split into 3 parts, as I already told you. So the first part is integral E vector dot dA vector for curved surface, then integral E vector dot dA vector for top surface, and integral E vector dot dA vector for bottom surface. If you add all these 3, you will get the total electric flux. Okay, but then we know lambda, linear density, charge density, which is del Q by del L. This is for small charge, small length. Now we are considering the entire cylinder. That means it is lambda, which is Q by L. That means lambda L is equal to Q. Now after understanding this equation, we have to separately find out the values for curved surface, top surface, and bottom surface. So if you carefully look, the top surface, the positive charge is all along the wire, thin wire with uniform density. So the electric field will come out of the wire perpendicularly. So this is electric field, and I am considering a small area on top of the cylindrical surface. Okay, in that for the area vector, the n cap will be normal to it. So this is n cap. So the angle between E vector and n cap is 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0. Therefore, on the top surface, the electric flux is 0. Similarly, if you consider the bottom surface, the electric field lines goes like this, E, and the unit normal vector will be perpendicular to it of that small area. So the angle between these two is 90, cos 90 is 0, because for dot product we know E vector dot dA vector is equal to magnitude of A, magnitude of dA multiplied by cos theta. Now cos theta is 90 degree, so the answer is 0. Cos 90 is 0, 0 multiplied by anything is 0. Therefore, the top surface, this value, integral E vector dot dA for top surface and bottom surface will be 0. Now we have to consider only the curved surface. Curved surface, that is this part. Okay, this part, unit normal, electric field 90 degree 0, bottom also 0. So now curved surface. Curved surface you can consider any point, any small point. So the line conductor, very small thin conductor with uniform electric charge density is at the center. So from the center, if you see, the electric field is coming out. Now if you consider a small area in that point, the normal for that area will also lie along the electric field lines. That means both the electric field lines and the normal of the area vector is, the angle between them is 0 degree. That's what is shown here. So you are considering a small area, the electric field lines comes out of this uniformly charged wire. The normal for this area vector will be along same direction of E vector. That means E vector, the angle between E vector and N vector is 0. You all know that cos 0 is 1. That means for the first case, we have only magnitude of E into magnitude of A. So E vector integral dA. Okay. Now we know that already. From this, applying Gauss law, phi E is equal to integral E dA for curved surface. But by Gauss law, what we know? Q enclosed, charge enclosed within that closed surface. In this case, is a cylindrical surface divided by epsilon naught. Now for E, everything is constant. You are pulling out of that integral electric field because it is uniform throughout the length of the wire into dA, which is equal to this E constant, integral dA is equal to charge enclosed by epsilon naught. But from this equation, the charge enclosed is equal to lambda L. Therefore, for charge enclosed, we can substitute lambda L by epsilon naught. Now we have to consider this integral dA. Integral dA is nothing but the curved surface area of the cylinder, curved surface area. So curved surface is this perimeter, which is 2 pi r, because radius is r multiplied by this height is L. So curved surface area is 2 pi r into L. So this is curved surface area. Integral dA means curved surface area, which is 2 pi RL. Now what we have here is E multiplied by the curved surface area of the cylinder. That is E into curved surface area of the cylinder is 2 pi RL is equal to lambda L by epsilon naught. So lambda L by epsilon naught. Now we want electric field, so bring this term the other side. So 1 by 2 pi RL into lambda L by epsilon naught. Now lambda and lambda gets cancelled. So we have electric field 1 divided by 2 pi r into lambda divided by epsilon naught. Now this can be written as E is equal to, E vector is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi epsilon naught into lambda by r. Okay. So what I am trying to say is lambda, epsilon naught, 1 by 2 pi, everything is constant. So the electric field is inversely proportional to radius of the cylinder. That means radius of the cylinder increases, then electric field decreases. So we have to represent, since the electric field is a vector quantity. So in vector notation, what we do is E vector is equal to 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught lambda by r into r cap. So this r cap is in the direction of E field, therefore we put r cap. So in conclusion, what we try to say is we can apply Gauss law to solve symmetrical structures easily. So this is a symmetrical structure, and we make some assumptions, that is the charge density of this thin wire is constant, and L radius, everything is not varying, it's all fixed. So if that is the case, then the electric field is given by 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught into lambda by r into r cap. That means electric field is inversely proportional to r. R is the radius of the cylinder. So hope you have understood the second application of the Gauss law. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.